Chapter 68.
You are now listening to the Chapter of the Architech with DJ Architech.
What's going on, my people? Once again, this is your homeboy DJ Architect. I want to welcome you guys to Chapter 68. I apologize. We've been gone for quite a few weeks. Shit's been hectic with everything that's going on. Me having a new job and pretty much being concentrating on learning those aspects of the job kind of had me pretty busy. But I got two telephonic special returning, really they're co-hosts. They're not guests. Of course, my man, Big Sherm, the place to be. Sherm, welcome. Thank you for your time.
Yes, sir.
And returning co-host, Kenny Ken, in the place to be. Kenny, how you doing, brother?
Yo, what's up? Thanks for having me.
Hey, guys. So let's talk about the situation that's going on right now with the coronavirus, and everyone pretty much being told or asked to bunker down in your home. Please do not leave your residence unless it's you're going to get provisions and things of that nature. How are you guys doing?
This is Sherm, and I'd say I'm in a house full of sick people right now, just two kids and my wife. My wife's worst off. The kids are kind of mild, but the one I'm kind of tripping about is my wife. It started out nice, we're just okay. We're sent home. We're just chilling now, just kind of watching the shit unfold on TV. But now it's like, oh snap, the symptoms start coming and whatnot. So then it gets a little more real, and all the stuff you're watching gets a little more nerve wracking. Just trying to make the best of it and trying to stay away from other people the best we can.
What type of symptoms is your wife showing?
My wife has just a burning chest, just heavy burning chest, and her ears are plugged. But it's just a painful burn on her chest. She's starting to cough. It's just not very productive. If she has a fever, it's very mild. The kids are nose faucets. I'd say my daughter's got a dry cough, and my son had he just had a runny nose. I didn't really trip on him too much. Right. 3 weeks ago, I was sick. I was staying home from work because I had a fever and an upper respiratory infection. And I kind of think that's why I'm symptomless right now. I kind of think I may have been unknowingly patient zero for quite a few people. So I'm glad I'm home now, and I hope I didn't harm too many people. But at the same time, I think it's hard to avoid contact if you're out and about.
I agree. Kenny, how are you and your family
doing? We're okay right now, but I just want to add, sure, the symptoms that your wife is experiencing are the exact symptoms of the COVID-19.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, okay. So, but here's the thing is that there's no need to exactly trip, because a lot of people have gotten it and gone through the whole sickness, and then they're totally fine.
Yeah, so we just have a bad history of it. I had H1N1 and I gave it to her, and hers turned into viral meningitis, where she had to be quarantined at a hospital and treated by people in spacesuits and whatnot. So it's just a little bit of PTSD as far as that goes. We're just kind of ripping on that,
Holy shit!
I know
that's intense, man.
Yeah, looking at you like she want to give you a good thrashing.
Yeah.
Motherfucker, you get me sick left and right.
Yeah.
You gave me the swine flu and not the COVID.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, on a lighter note, can I just say real quick? It's something I was doing right before you called. I have my favorite American Sign Language translators that I've been following. One is on Philadelphia's press conferences. They zoom in on her quite a bit, and I have the press conference down on mute, and I'm listening to Put the Lime in the Coconut on repeat. And it is probably by far the most entertaining thing I've done during this whole quarantine. I just want to put that out. Some advice.
I hear you, man. Kenny.
That is comedy.
How are you and your family doing, man?
So we're good. None of us have had any symptoms that are like the COVID-19 symptoms. The kids, they're snot rags. They're just blowing boogers all over the place. So they're wet, they're mucusy. They're not like dry cough, where that would have been a little more concerning. But I don't know. I've been good. I'm still working. My job is considered essential because we work on turbine generators, and these generators provide power to hospitals and stuff. So it's infrastructure.
Right.
And so we're considered essential. So I'm still working. My job doesn't require me to be around a bunch of people.
Nice.
So other than that, it's like every other day, pretty much, stay away from people.
Right. I hear you.
How you doing, Architect?
Listen, man, health-wise, we're good. The only thing that has me concerned is my wife, because she works in a healthcare field. So they, come Friday, when that order was passed, she received a text message pretty much telling her, business as usual. We're in the healthcare field, so you have to show up. And she has asthma, man. So that kind of, has me a little bit
Yeah, that's
worried.
concerning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I know she told me that they were asking her information regarding her PC serial number, things of that nature. So, I'm hoping that, sometime maybe Tuesday or Wednesday, they have her work from home.
I forget, is she in more of like a admin or paper pushing part of the healthcare system?
Yeah, she deals with patient health records. So they're constantly being, because of what's going on, they're constantly being right now bombarded where physicians are asking for patient records. So I'm just worried over the situation with her asthma. But if we can get her working from home, we're not going to share the same office. We'll hook something up for her, and then hopefully we'll have enough good bandwidth where we can both operate without any hiccups with work, right?
Yeah.
But, they did with my wife. She you might have to dig a little. Her work is they're a $1 billion company, and they do research for medical services and stuff like that. So she kind of falls in line with like the whole, I think they're actually Millipore Sigma is a company, and I think they are doing research regarding the COVID-19.
Right.
But
so
they just gave her 3 monitors, all these hookups, her computer, and she brought it all home, and now she has a dining room table now, and that's her office. So, so I'm pretty sure they could do the same, because she does something similar to your wife, like paperwork, documentation, and all that stuff. So, your home Wi-Fi or internet is going to be better than her work internet. I guarantee it.
That'd be great, man.
Do you have any concern of Wi-Fi moving forward, though? I mean, with the bandwidth usage of now that we're facing with everybody at home.
I saw a parody article about. Well, I don't know if it was a parody article, but I think it was from like NBC or something like that, where Netflix asked everybody to not stream so much, just to have like one streaming device at home, so we don't break the internet or something like that.
Kind of like we're telling everybody not to go to the beach. Yeah, right. Sure, we'll listen to that.
Yeah. Good luck, man.
But I don't see how the beach would be that bad, though.
Well, the helicopters are flying over like Santa Monica, watching people play beer pong and shit. And so
you're supposed to be socially isolated or have 6 feet apart from each other.
They're mostly picking on the spring breakers for sure.
Oh, okay, yeah. I can see people going to the beach and just chilling, and
they're playing spin the bottle at beer pong.
Spin the bottle, yeah. Let's make out.
Yeah, guys. So Thursday, I'm at my new job, and obviously, it's pretty much computers everywhere. Everyone obviously uses computers. No paperwork. It's all digital on the computers, and
Right. That's good, actually. I
yeah.
like that.
So they were already pretty much, from that Monday already kind of giving us heads up, sending us information regarding, hey, look, we may send you guys home because we're in a training environment right now, and it's for the next 6 weeks. So a lot of it has to be face to face. So they were trying to figure out, okay, what are we going to do with these guys? We know what to do with the individuals who are already here, have been working here, they're past the training period. We can send them home. That's not an issue. But what about these guys in this special dynamic of a training environment? And then all of a sudden, we started receiving emails probably Wednesday. This mandatory telework training needs to be done. So we're like, okay, it's coming. It's just around the corner. Thursday afternoon after lunch, and keep in mind, guys, we're still in a training environment where there's a roster of training that needs to be met towards the end of the day. And after lunch, we had no time to complete the rest of the remaining, training that was scheduled, because all of a sudden here comes IT frantic, running up and down. Oh, who needs a PC to take home? Who has personal equipment? Okay, I have to give you these authorizations. Fill out this form. So nobody is completing any type of training. We're like, okay, let's fill out whatever documentation we need, email it out to the person that needs to authorize it, gives us these permissions. And I think I stayed up until 11:30 trying to get this Citrix up on my PC, which it didn't work, and then my laptop finally got it up and running around 11:30. I hit the rack. I got up. Half of the people that were supposed to be in the virtual classroom weren't even there because they just broke the system. So many people working from home, and that
too many people on the servers too.
Yeah, servers just crashed. IT issues. It was Thursday evening, and I called them, and I did the option where they'd call you back. I called them around 5:45. It was 9:30 when they called. I was in the shower. I missed the call, so I had to figure it out myself. But it was a soup sandwich. It really was. But in all honesty,
is training something? Sorry.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm just saying, is training something they can maybe put together on a Skype for you guys, or no?
No, because a lot of it has to do with you accessing certain VA websites that are restricted to regular. Like they have to be protected behind a firewall. I don't know if that makes sense, right? So you have to.
But what I would think is, like, for new employee orientation or something, there's got to be like a portion of the training that is talk, that is PowerPoint, that is something that just trying to be informative of what you're going to be doing rather than hands-on.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering if they could like get that stuff out of the way, and then if.
Yeah, no, I know. I totally hear what you're saying. And the thing about it is we're already into this Monday will be week 4. So we're way past that stage, right? Week 4 of 6 weeks.
I see. Yeah.
So now this is the nitty gritty of the good stuff. And once and listen, guys, and this is the truth about it. Working from home is great. I woke up, I did what I had to do. I log into the computer in my, boxer briefs and tank top, and I'm at work. It's great.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this: Did you use a protector over your keyboard, or is that just all sticky now? You got to like crunch through it now.
That's a good question.
Peel that layer off.
But it's great, man. But nonetheless, going back to what I was saying. So here, a bunch of us are texting in the chat box to the instructors, because they're moving forward throughout the day. Like, okay, on to the next piece of evolution, and everyone's like, whoa, stop. You got to keep in mind, there's people it's like 200 people in this virtual classroom, people from Hawaii, St. Louis, Colorado. We're not the only ones. So everyone from San Diego is typing in, hey, well, we didn't finish the 2 evolutions from yesterday, and you're just moving forward like we're going to have time to make this up. And they're like, oh, yeah, we understand that you guys just got sent home and you guys are working from home and the issues, but you'll be given enough time to catch up. But it doesn't feel that way, man. I wasn't sweating it because I said to myself, well, you know what? After hours on a Saturday afternoon, I'll get in an hour and a half and I'll catch up. And then they tell us, no, our department doesn't allow you to do that. It's considered overtime, so you can't log into this particular software because if you do, the department frowns upon it and they're looking at you as they just won't let it happen. So we're like, how are we going to play catch up? This is crazy. But nonetheless, we always figure out a way to maneuver and finagle through things. And
sure,
that's going to be a situation that we're going to have to figure out.
Yeah. Think how virtually and technically we're going to change after this, kind of like after 9/11. I mean, it's kind of weird. I was watching all those politicians that took their money out of the stock market and then they placed their money into telework software. And I mean,
right.
And obviously,
is that what they did? Oh,
yes,
my
man.
God.
Yeah. So they're
so fucked up.
It's so fucked up. And so now Congress is saying, obviously Congress is protecting Congress, but Jesus, I mean, that is some shit.
Whoa.
So
slap to the face of all other Americans, man.
No kidding.
Slap to the face.
But that brings up a good point, Sherman, where now you see all these stocks going down and there are people such as myself, thinking, okay, man, this is really a good opportunity because these stocks are eventually going to come back up. Like, what would someone
for sure
invest in to take advantage of what's going on now?
Okay. Ooh, I need to respond to that. Okay. Because I did the same thing. So I actually moved I didn't move anything. I just bought a few shares of one of the airlines because they're going way down. Mm-hmm. But here's the thing. They pulled out their money a while ago, right? And then they transferred it because that's what the problem is that they're doing insider trading shit. They are like talking to each other. They're all Martha Stewarting each other.
Right.
And that is the fucked up part about it. So they got to do all this beneficial things before they got to sell high basically, mm-hmm. and then buy low. Right. So they got to take advantage of that. Wow. A lot of people are just like, holy shit, my 401k just dropped 20%.
Yeah.
And it's too late for them. They can't sell high anymore. So
right. For sure.
That's the fucked up part.
Yeah.
So fuck those guys.
400K.
Insider trading for sure. Absolutely. Trading. Sure. Yeah. But so did you purchase any shares in airline companies?
Yeah, I forgot what the name is. I just bought one of the cheap ones that I know is that I know will bounce back because it's like an umbrella company.
Right.
It's LATAM Airlines because they're already a pretty inexpensive share, mm-hmm. And it dropped even lower. So might as well buy some of those. They're going to bounce back. They're all going to jump back up. So I think it was their highest was just under $10 when I purchased. It was like at $4. And I think now it's like at $2.50 or something like that. So I might even buy a few more.
My concern is after 9/11, it took the airline market so long to get back online because of the fear, right? So I'm afraid mm-hmm. that traveling OCONUS and sometimes even CONUS is going to be, it's going to not diminished, but it's going to be, behind where it was because of people's fear of going to a new place and germs and shit like that.
Yeah.
See, I think that the difference here, though, is that the fear, people already don't give a fuck. Like, people are still flying around right now.
Right.
There's those people, but there's also the other people,
Yeah, but so I think the fear is not it's not to the same degree, I guess. I don't know what word it's kind of like, I don't know if it's exactly comparable between the reason why people aren't flying right now is because there's a lot of travel restrictions.
Sure.
The reason why people didn't fly after 9/11 is like, I don't want to get blown up. So once they get rid of the travel restrictions and COVID-19 starts diminishing, then people are going to be like, I need to get the fuck out of here. And I think it's going to blow up.
Yeah,
that's true.
It's
Antarctica is going to be a hot spot.
Right.
Antarctica.
I got a buddy of mine who sent me a text this morning, just asking, hey, what's well-being? How you guys doing? And he goes, hey man, I'm going out of my head right now. I'm bored out of my mind. I have no idea what to do. Stuck here at home, and this is a good friend of mine, Fox Jones, who's a pilot. And so right now I'm assuming we didn't get too much into details over the conversation, but I'm sure he's suspended as far as him, being able to go fly back and forth, because if he's bored out of his mind, right, he's not working. But at the end of May into the beginning of June, my wife and I already have a vacation planned to go to Hawaii. And, if the situation is as bad as it is now or even worse, listen, man, if there are no travel restrictions to Hawaii, I'm going to look at my wife and say, let's go.
So there is now. There is in Hawaii, and the way they're doing it, trying to be polite about it, is saying if you come here, you're quarantined for 14 days in your hotel, and then you can go have fun.
Well, I'm hoping come the end of May into the beginning of June, that's not the case. If not,
that would be a long vacation.
Yeah, I'll be talking to the, to the agent that we made this deal with. Hey, all right, homeboy, or whatever, you're gonna have to reimburse us, or if not, keep the money. Just let's move the date of
move
arrival,
the dates,
right? Yeah.
Sure. Or if it's a 16-day trip, you have 2 days to party.
Condense all your party into 2 days.
That's not going to happen.
That's way too much cocaine.
Hey guys, so right before I called you guys for the podcast, I was rushing out early in the morning, hoping to get some kind of chicken breast for my dogs. These guys are spoiled that way, and more so some TP, man. TP. Yeah. I don't know what the fuck is going on with these people, man. Where if I know I were to run out of TP, I can always jump my ass in the shower and wash my ass, right?
Yeah.
Worst comes to worst, you'll make do without TP, but obviously food, water, those are the most essential things. And these idiots, they bought up all the TP. And luckily, my wife goes shopping at Costco and she buys the big, I don't know, like, what is it, 24-pack of TP in a one package. So for the moment, we're good. We're standing about a decent amount of quantity of paper towels and TP. But that shit's eventually going to run out. So I've been on a hunt for the past 3 days with no luck. I was able to purchase one paper towel roll, which was great. And I come home with that. My wife's like, what's that? I'm like, well, it's a paper towel roll. This is gold as of right now.
So I was an outside sales rep for food. I was in the food industry. I was selling food for Vitco Foods in San Diego. A little plug, but anyway, in San Bernardino and Ontario area, there's lots of warehouses of people like that. And right now they're putting together big bundles. So you have to buy the whole bundle. You can't buy more than a bundle. but they're doing meat bundles, they're doing sanitation bundles, they're doing toilet paper, paper towel. You just kind of got to think outside the box as far as where you're going to get your shit from. So it's not going to come from Stater Brothers. It's not going to come from Albertsons, but we're not that far from a business park industry that's just up the freeway where they have a warehouse full of this shit that they sell to restaurants and stuff like that. If you are local to this area, that particular one, I'm not saying they're the only one, but it's vitkofoods.com, and you can look at the bundles. But you're going to be driving up to Ontario, which for us here, it's 45 minutes away. But I mean, that's still an option. They have meat bundles and paper goods and stuff like that. It's just, you're not going to find it where you're used to finding it, like Albertsons or Stater Brothers.
Yeah. I went up to Best Buy this morning because I needed to get an extra mouse, just because I don't want to be unplugging and plugging, different keyboards into this work setting and my studio equipment. And I mean, they had the doors closed, people out there with neon vests, and they immediately approached me. And I was like, whoa, what's going on? I didn't steal anything. I'm outside the store. And they were telling me that no one can go inside the store, but if you go online and then you order the product that they would go inside and you show your ID, you purchase it online, and they bring you the product out to your vehicle. I was like, wow, that's cool. That's cool.
I actually did that at Best Buy just yesterday. I had to get a microphone for my phone, and I had to order online, pull up online, show them the receipt, and then they bring my stuff out. So they're not allowing anybody in though, which is I think is responsible. They're taking initiative. That's good.
It took them a while though. I mean, I think we've been just sitting here like festering in this shit for a long time. And I mean, I have family members that work in the grocery industry, and they're just saying, I have been in contact with 2,000 of these motherfuckers for the last few days, and there's no way I don't have it. Like it's just like they kind of, that's why they keep preparing for this spike, right? Like, they let the kids out of school. Right. They say, okay, this is probably going to be how it goes down. In 14 days from the time we let these kids out of school, this, everybody's going to get this shit. So it's like they're preparing for that spike. And if it does take 14 days, it hasn't yet, but it'll be there. And that's what they're preparing for, right?
Yeah. The surge. The way I look at it is, because my degree is in electrical engineering. So I kind of think everything in physics when it comes to analogies and stuff like that. So electrically, when you flip something on, you cause a surge, a little spike. You can look at it on your metering system at home, especially like a space heater. You turn on a space heater, there's a surge, and it takes a moment for it to level out. So that is what we're preparing for, is that flip. It's going to surge up and it's going to spike, exactly what you called it. And if you look at it graphically, it's going to be intense. I think it's going to be, I think they already had a number of like 100 to 150 million people getting the actual sickness.
Yeah. Newsom saying 22 mil just in Cali.
That's over half. Holy
That's
shit.
Crazy. That's 56%.
That's crazy, man.
That's insane.
And then, you know what? A big shout out to all the first responders, man, like the nurses. My sister-in-law is a nurse in Houston, and I was talking to my nephew, and I was like, how's your mom doing? And she's like, well, she's telling us that they're running out of supplies to keep themselves protected. So
they're going to Hanes.
What was
they're
that?
hitting up Hanes. They're hitting up people like Hanes to make outfits and masks and stuff.
Right. Which
that's part of the Procurement Act or whatever.
Right.
Or they haven't had to use it or something like that.
Since the Korean War, where private companies get mandated by the federal government to retrofit to help essential needed items. Which I think is
but
great.
At this point, it's not mandated. At this point, everybody's working with big government and trying to make it happen without them having to like flex, which I think will be the case.
Listen, and I think which is great, right? That just shows empathy within the human heart. Hey, look, you don't have to tell us to do something. We're willing to help, everyone that's going on in this whole situation. And another big shout out to all the grocery workers, man. I really feel bad for these people. Yeah, you're waiting in the line, and Albertsons went as far as, ladies and gentlemen, if you're from the East Coast, I know that Albertsons is something you guys have no idea what it is. It's a chain of supermarkets, just like AMP out here in California. People wouldn't know what AMP
Kroger's
is, right?
I think it's Kroger's out there. Yeah.
So,
they got like Piggly Wiggly, right?
No, that's down south. That's Piggly Wiggly. Nah, man. Like the East Coast has Pathmark. They have AMP. Just different name markets. But nonetheless, they grabbed tape with 6 feet apart, and if you're waiting to check out, you can't. They're pretty much letting you know, hey, don't cross this red line of tape because that's the amount of space that you're given. And
I think that's such bullshit when you're in a warehouse. When you're in a warehouse full of, like 300 people, 6 feet is no longer anything. I think when you're outside, keep 6 feet, right?
That's valid.
But when you're inside a confined space, it's definitely no longer 6 feet. You're in a petri dish, right?
Listen, I agree, but I at least have to applaud the effort. And they didn't have to do that. You go to Walmart, they don't give a fuck. It's fat people,
I got you.
Right next to each other. But just the face on the exhausted look. I applaud them, man. Kudos to them and what they continue to do, man. And so if you guys are out and about, man, you see a poor dude stacking up items, man, let them know, hey, thanks, man, appreciate you, because we really take these guys for granted,
For sure.
But
and they're only getting, from what I hear, like Stater Brothers is only getting $2 on the hour to stay, but you're welcome to go home. But what's $2 when you're risking potentially a lot?
Your life, pretty much.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What are you guys doing to stay busy, fellas?
Well, I still work, so I'm still working.
That's right. Right.
But when I am home, since we were supposed to go camping this weekend, and we had a rave that we were going to go to, or camping next weekend, rave this weekend, Beyond Wonderland, and all that's canceled. They had to cancel all that. So staying home with the kids, just trying not to I don't know, physically abuse them. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
but no, we've been playing games. We've been playing
what games?
Video games, and so for myself, I've been playing a TCG game. It's called Shadow Era. It's like a Magic the Gathering. I know, super nerdy, but it's the reason why I play is because I have it side by side when I'm doing some studies. So I basically gone back to my hobby, which is physical fitness, and I'm trying to get recertified again, get my certification again through NASM, I believe. I forgot which one I'm doing, and I've just been reading and coming up with new workout regimens for specific people and stuff like that. Yeah. Learning how to meal prep. So I've been doing that, doing videos, kind of like classroom type videos for people.
So you were on a podcast probably, I think, a year and a half ago, maybe less, about fasting. And it's funny how I think I had this virus already, right? But it came in a time where I was doing 20-hour fasting for a month. And I owe that to you, actually, and that podcast that you were talking about, your intermittent fasting. And I kind of took it to the next level. And and I'm usually, I've never been the guy to like get something and it's gone real fast. But if it actually was the case to where I did have this or whatever I had, where I had the fever and the upper respiratory, it came in a time where I was doing a 20-hour fast, and it was in a month. I've been doing it for a month. I lost a lot of weight. I felt really good. And if I did get it, and it went away in 4 or so days, like piece of cake. I just want to say that I owe you that, or I owe that to you
What's up?
in that podcast, because I think it does have something to do with cell
regeneration and stuff.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a lot of things that happen in your body, especially. So you're doing a full day fast, right?
Yeah.
So you eat one day, don't eat the next day, and then the following day you eat.
I was doing 20 hours no eating in 4-hour windows.
Oh, 4-hour windows. Okay.
Yeah.
That's probably, they actually have a name for that one. It's called the warrior diet. Mm-hmm. And there's been a lot of good things that are said about that 20-hour fasting window. Mm-hmm. And I think essentially what it does is that it helps your body to kind of cleanse itself. You train yourself to learn what it's like to be hungry. And that 4-hour window, it's kind of difficult to consume your entire day's worth of calories in that small window. So you end up eating less calories than you need in a day,
that makes sense,
causing you to lose overall weight. So that's probably the most powerful fasting windows. I even know people that do eat one day, don't eat the next. Eat one day, don't eat the next. So it's like they eat every other day. Wow. That's pretty intense. Yeah.
That sounds like a warrior.
Yeah. And I'm like, bro, you just have an office job, man. You don't have you don't have to flip these tires and stuff, man. It's not that serious.
Hey, but you know what? That reminds me of a statement that one of our past guests, Officer M, stated, where he was doing the fasting, and he would say, "Well, if you got to think about it, look at it this way: back in let's say the days of the caveman, right, where these guys didn't have an Albertsons to go and shop, so they would go and utilize all their calories just hunting that piece of animal, right, that meat, right." And then they would consume, They would save what they can, but they would have to go out and hunt once again. So it wasn't like they had Ritz crackers with cheese steadily, idly, by. It was, they would utilize these calories. They probably didn't eat as often as we do. And so it makes sense to, have the body go longer periods of time without consuming any protein or any type of, food.
Well, just any food in general, yeah.
Right, but hey, real quick, I don't mean to jump off topic, Kenny, but are you still playing Destiny 2?
Yeah, I played some yesterday, yeah. I try to play it like a couple hours a week just to try to stay with it and stuff. And the thing that sucks outside, it seems like you do almost nothing in 2 hours.
I know, man.
On that game.
I lost interest in that game. Yeah, I lost interest in that game maybe about a year ago. I didn't buy the new upgraded package for it. Nah, man. I was like, the grind was way too much for me, man. I was like, no way that I can keep up with this. And I just lost interest, man. I really haven't fired up the PS4 in a while, man. And I mean, eventually I will, but it's gonna take new games for me to do that,
Oh, dude, there's all kinds of games right now. One thing I started playing a lot of, probably multiple hours on a weekend, is a good cardio workout called Beat Saber for the PS4 VR. And it's like what's that guitar game? The Guitar Hero?
Yeah.
It's like that, but you have these things coming at you and you got to use it's like a lightsaber. You're like a Jedi and you got to hit these blocks as it's coming to you to a beat, to a song beat. So you're like kind of dancing and hitting these things. It's like a Dance Revolution. That's kind of what it is. But you got these sabers.
Hey, man. Talk about sabers. Did you guys take a look at the last Star Wars movie that came out?
What was it called?
The Rise of Skywalker.
There's so many.
Rise of Skywalker, I believe.
That's not the one where Luke Skywalker dies, right?
No, that's The Last Jedi. But obviously, it's okay. Yeah, it's not a topic of interest.
But is that because I'm being quiet or what?
No. I'm just saying that I don't know. I'm a huge. Star Wars fan.
I've been playing Bob's Burger Clue and
the hell's that?
Bob. Yeah, it's Clue,
Sounds like
but it's
Burger
Bob
Time
Burger's
or some
themed. It's actually a board game where we all sit in front of each other and cough on each other's faces while we play.
Hey, Sherm, so you've been working from home. How long is that? How long you been doing that?
No, it started that way. Like they were just like, as soon as my kids got booted from school, I kind of just looked at boss and said, peace out. And then he goes, yep. And I went home. And then he goes, okay, you're in telework status. Try to figure this, and this out. Well, I have a Mac, and government stuff with Macs sucks.
Ooh,
and I attempted to play with it for a little bit. And then I was like, so I hit him up and I said, hey, do you have the new Catalina OS on your Mac? Like you were able to do it, just piece of cake. And then he said, don't worry about it, man. I just got a message saying you are non-essential. He's like, don't work, shut her down, stay the fuck home.
Wow.
I was like, all right. And
So,
then
that's aggressive.
yeah. And then 2 days later, I get that email. Yeah. And then well, he's funny, dude. I keep hitting him up like, hey, is everything good? And he's just basically like, he's like, just shut up and keep getting paid just because he's at work. so he has to work. He's essential. And he's like, dude, hey, I know you're at home just chilling. He's like, please quit talking to me. I was like, all right, well, all right, cool. So when your boss says, leave me alone, I guess you leave him alone, right?
Yeah.
So, under what category pay status are you getting paid?
Full. Oh, admin leave.
Admin leave. Wow, that's great, man. Well, good for you.
And
man.
Thanks. And they said you could go till summer.
What?
Yeah.
They say
as long, as long as the kids are out of school. They said non-essential people might be home till summer.
Hey, man, you gotta love the government.
You don't do any work.
No.
You gotta,
What the fuck?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well,
Yeah.
I can't say I can't say you gotta love the government because things are really screwed up. But in this case, yeah, Mr. Sherm, you coming up, brother. You coming up.
It's all right. I mean, yes, blessed. I'll say that. I do think about people who did not take the path that I did.
Right.
But I mean, a lot of my friends, man, seriously, like I'm not far from home. I'm in Temecula right now, and my home is Oceanside. The good percentage of my friends are a group or circle of people who have not paid taxes since they turned 18.
Wow.
And it's biting them in the ass very hard. And if there does come some kind of like assistance or aid, those people aren't going to get it.
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, there's decisions we make and, everybody kind of has to like weigh the what ifs, and it's scary. I feel for them, and I don't know. I feel for a lot of people. I feel blessed. Dude. I feel like I'm in this position that is awesome. I want to go out and help, but it's also at the same time, you're just like, holy fuck. Like, I'm not going outside my door, especially when you have kids and a wife, and now they're the only ones sick. So now I don't want to go out my door because I don't want to spread the slime,
Yeah.
So like my big thing, like once this blows down, like I graduated high school in 2001, right? I don't know if anybody else here did, but definitely not Carlos.
No, fuck you, motherfucker.
But I graduated in 2001. So I graduate and you're looking at the like working world thinking, all right, cool, I'm going to get me some. And then there goes the towers. There goes the world. You got to join the military now. Like shit was hot. Like, so now there's people who are about to graduate high school under the same circumstances, who may not even walk, who may not like whatever. And they're about to join a workforce or a world that is seeing like some crazy shit go down. And for 2020 to be your year to graduate high school and enter that world, like, I'm just curious what you see for those kids, like entering this world now, like where they would be doing SATs right now, right? I don't even know, when do you do SATs?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, around the time.
So I guess virtual SATs, hell no, that shit's got to be proctored, or we're going to have a bunch of, top-notch high school kids.
Yeah.
So that's crazy, and that plays a big effect. And I don't know. I think aside from that, I'm just looking at like where we were in the world, like so polarized politically and socially, and like. Do both of you think that this is going to shrink the gap or grow it? And like politically, being left, right, I mean, we just saw before this happened, like the biggest gap grow between left and right, and the polarization was like out of control. So does this bring us together? I'm like, what do you guys think?
Well, for me, I think it doesn't do anything politically. I think it's going to stay exactly the same politically. I think the trouble socially, I think it's going to probably damage us a little bit because it's people are skeptical about getting close to one another right now. Standing in line behind somebody, you kind of you clutch your pearls, and stand offish from whoever's behind you or in front of you. Like I went to go get some food after work the other day at a place that was open. And of course you buy your food and you take it and you leave, right? Somebody was sitting there waiting for her food. And when I walked in and, just seeing her like take a step back and like kind of like look away, no eye contact. I asked her, are you in line? It's really weird. And I'm like, holy shit, this is what it's like to be a black dude in the US, right?
Right.
So now we're all seeing that effect where things are, I think things are going to worsen socially, politically.
As far as an inequality gap or like...
inequality as in
economically and socially.
Man, those are huge questions.
I know.
It's just so socially we have, it's going to be weird, and people are going to be more cliquish, I think, where they're not going to be so, like, let's say we were going to go to a rave, right? And all the raves that I've been to before, you could just walk up to people. People are sharing. They hug. They're like, yeah, you could be part of our group. And it's so like liberal, hippie. Let's try to make this world as beautiful as possible. I don't think it's going to be like that anymore. I think people are going to be like, yeah, we would like it if you didn't join our group. If you could stay away from us, that would be even better.
Sure.
So I kind of sense that happening where people will only talk to their neighbors if they knew their neighbors before this.
Yikes.
Neighbors that they don't know, they're going to continue to not know. They're like, I'm not going to go over there. I don't know them.
I just moved here. I'm fucked.
Yeah. So if you already don't know anybody, and I think what sucks even more is that if people think that you are an international traveler, that's going to hinder the social aspect between people, because that's the sucky part. It's like, oh, you're Mexican, you're from Southern California. I know you go to Mexico to visit family or whatever. You're an international traveler. I don't want to talk to you. I could see that happening.
Good point. Yeah, I think so too.
Here's the thing: is that the fear mongering has escalated. Where I hate to say, I'm white, so I get to make fun of white people, but white people are scared, and a lot of times they're scared unnecessarily.
Yeah.
So they put these, like everybody buying toilet paper. You watch those videos. I mean, that's a lot of scared white people, they're like, for some reason, they're like, I got to get this fucking toilet paper for whatever reason. So I'm going to shit all over myself. But it's the irrational fear is starting to eat everybody up. And that is part of it. They kind of don't care where outside the U.S. that you travel. They just care that you travel outside the U.S.
Right. I'm also kind of tripped on the fear mongering as far as like Ron Paul's putting out like Ron Paul's the new Alex Jones, if you haven't watched. And it's really
I used to like him.
I did too, man. But so what Ron Paul is saying, all he's doing in his speech is talking about the fear mongering government. And at the same time, he's doing exactly what he has been preaching against forever. Anyway, check that out if you can. I'm just like, I'm kind of tripped out by like, so I ask about polarization because as far as political polarization, because one of the sides was definitely anti-big government, right? And so now we have two sides that are turning on their TV and like thirsty or just like waiting for the government to tell us something new, right? So it's just a trip how like at one moment we don't need big government. We don't need government involvement in our life. And now all of a sudden both sides are like sitting in front of the TV going, what is the government going to tell me what to do next?
Let me chime in on this, man. The way I look at it is, and I'm looking at it from a person with just using logic, right? We know for the past 6 weeks that this was going to happen, right? The majority of us, we were getting trickles of information of how this was happening in foreign countries. And when we have a president who in my personal opinion, I believe is a fucking idiot, who downplays what's about to happen. Oh, so come spring, it'll magically disappear. You just wait, and downplays it. It wasn't even maybe 2 weeks ago where this guy was still trying to act like it wasn't going to be a big issue. And when it catches up, all of a sudden, I don't know if it was somebody within his administration that said, hey, stupid, picked up his toupee and gave this fucking guy a thought. Hey,
Puppet Masters, bro.
Right. Listen, man, this is big, and if you don't get on top of it, you're going to fucking kill a lot of people, if not probably already did. And I mean, there's people within my own family that still believe this is hocus pocus. It's not that big. And I look at them and I say, look, okay, that's your opinion. That's fine, but still prepare yourself for it. Don't be that person to where you thought it wasn't going to happen. You failed to prepare, and now you become a burden to someone else in your family because now you're eating up their stockpile of squirrel, nuts of what they were able to go ahead and gather up. That's irresponsible as well. So when it comes to a person with common sense, I would think we would all see this president's an idiot. He didn't really prepare the nation in the way that he should have, and all gather up and be like, you know what, to hell with this guy. He's a fucking dipshit. But that is not going to happen. It may happen with a few numbers, but when it comes down to it and people don't have anything to eat, I'm not saying it'll ever get to that point. As I was leaving Ralph's and I looked to the produce section, I was like, you know what, right now this is beautiful. Because there's still bananas, there's still, all these fresh vegetables within a couple of days can go bad, but they are still being replenished. If that were to stop and we start hitting a fear of the Walking Dead, breaking into supermarkets with nothing on the fucking shelves, holy shit, we're in trouble. Will it get to that point? I highly doubt it. I really hope not. But I was thinking to myself, right now, we're cordial with each other. They ran out of bags. They were giving boxes like they do at Costco to carry the items. And I was like, shit, okay. But if the point reaches where that produce is no longer being replenished and things just start disappearing and not being replenished, the chips, the things that right now are stockpiled in heavy masses, then the cordialness that people, the way they interact is going to go away. They're not going to remember that we had a fucking idiot president that wasn't able to do something 6 weeks ago. They're just going to remember or think, shit, I got to fucking take care of my family now. Who gives a fuck about that?
Scoffed at it.
Right.
Yeah.
So, that's my take on it.
I think things changed after 9/11, where, we were so innocent and complacent in, say, 2001 June, right? I'm speaking on somebody who just turned, 18. That was my year, right? So we were complacent, innocent, whatever. We learned, we grew. Some of us joined the military, whatever. Now we're going to have another layer of something to like minimize that complacency. And there's going to be a lot of woke ass folk as far as like what could possibly happen. And I think this is just that it could be growth. You know what I mean? Does that make any sense? As far as like precautions people can take now and entering a new world where the planet is trying to like weed us. I think, okay, so we have market-based medicine right now. We always have. Do you think this will change? Do you think government's going to take control of our medicine to make it to where it's not market-based, to where we're not getting ripped off, and to where our people actually need what they need?
Ken, you want to take this one?
I'm not sure the question exactly. Can you say that again?
So I'm afraid that our market-based medicine, which is like very competitive in pricing or not, or we're just ripping off people because we're hoarding certain medications and whatnot, and supplies such as ventilators and stuff like that. I'm just curious if you think we're going to turn to big government to like secure those operations to make it all big government for distribution rather than independent.
Okay. Yes, I actually do think that we will, because of the situation. Since it's a pandemic, it's kind of isolates itself as a government to government transaction rather than company to company transaction. So, I've heard of something where Germany they were coming up with a lot of good results from one of the tests that they've done for the COVID-19. And I believe it was Trump or someone in the administration of Trump said that they kind of want to corner the market on that. They want to buy it all first before it goes anywhere else, which is pretty fucked up. But there's already issues right now with lack of hardware. Like ventilators, like you were talking about. Sure. And I think Italy was having a huge issue because they had such a huge spike, and they are almost like calculating who has the highest ratio to survive. And those are the people that they are handing the hardware to first. So it's like, if you remember that movie, I, Robot with Will Smith, and he fell in the water, I believe with a kid or something like that. And the car was vacuuming and then deeper into the water. The robot jumped in, saved Will Smith, didn't save the kid. When they got out, he was like, why didn't you save the kid? Why'd you save me? The robot said, I had a higher chance of saving you rather than the kid because I was closer to you and shit like that. So they are already implementing something like that in Italy because the ventilators aren't able to just, hey, there's one for everybody. It's more like, this dude probably isn't going to make it anyway. Yeah. So we're going to give it to somebody that more than likely is. That's a better shot of because if they don't, because if they don't give it to him soon enough, then his ratio of living is going to drop. It's going to drop dramatically. Right. So they got to get it to them as quickly as possible. That's true, man. I see. And here's the thing: the thing between private insurance and
universal
universal healthcare system, that doesn't matter when it comes to when there's just not enough shit. It doesn't matter if you have a private insurance. It's not going to make a difference.
It's whether you have the equipment in abundance or not. Because if you did, then both the guy with the better chance of making it and the guy with the shit chance of making it, they would both have ventilators. And then it's really up to medicine and the grace of God whether that individual with the lesser chance of making it is going to make it. But at least he had the opportunity, right?
Yeah.
But
And so yeah, in the lines of whether or not we go with a Medicare for all system, me personally, I kind of hope that we do see a system like that in our near future, just because the number one cause of bankruptcy in America are medically related. So when people go bankrupt, it ends up being the people that are paying for it anyway. Well, who are the people that are getting paid off when they go bankrupt? Those private insurance companies, right? So it's like, well, why don't we just all pay into it and we all have it?
And I think the same kind of way into education. I mean, as far as right now, more than ever, we need educated motherfucking people. and we should be paying people to go to school rather than, making it something they have to pay back forever.
Oh my God. Yes. In all seriousness, yes, that will benefit the country. Yeah, because what's happening now is that, and that's a sucky part. There's a lot of people from other countries are coming here to get the education because education here is better. Right. Now, the problem is that they take their education and then they fuck off back to their country.
Right.
All that shit with them. And then we're stuck here with people that can't even get in because it's too goddamn expensive. So they got to do junior college for like 10 years before they could finally make it into like a 4-year or something. Mm-hmm. And we make it too difficult for higher education. That's the sucky part, but that's a totally different subject. The other thing that you were talking about, the political split between people, I don't think has changed. The problem before this whole thing was that we have a two-party system. And everyone that is residing in that two-party system, one side or the other, Democrat or Republican, they are so beholden to their party that anything that the other side does is completely wrong. Anything that their side does is completely right. Yeah, and it's the most bullshit.
And it doesn't matter if it's poison. It doesn't matter if it's right or wrong or fuck it. When the shit goes down, we'll figure out how we got here. But fuck it, I'm with you. Even though I know it's wrong. It's bullshit.
Yeah, here's the thing is that everyone that likes Trump, they don't just like him. They love that motherfucker. And that is scary.
Damn right.
They have become worshipers. And it's fucking weird that they look at a person like this. I mean, me personally, I don't think any president in my lifetime, I'm only 36, has done such a outstanding job that I'm going to try to be like that guy. I mean, to me, they kind of don't do shit except when it comes to military stuff. And I know, I think it's been said before, and it's getting a little mainstream, but the presidency, the office of the presidency is just such an outdated system. I mean, we're looking to one dude and trying to convince him to do something about something.
Do you think it's too early? Do you think that this will be the last president or no?
No, I don't. See, here's the thing is that there's a lot of people that want to conserve basically the Constitution as it is, even though it's literally a living document. And it's supposed to change with time, right?
That's correct.
Yeah. As time goes on, we're supposed to amend it. We're supposed to be like, you know what? This doesn't fly anymore. This doesn't fly anymore. That's why we abolished slavery.
Right.
That's why we got rid of prohibition.
Right.
Where there's some things that need to change in there. Yeah. And the fact that we haven't is problematic. And now we got this office where one person tries to run the show for an entire country, which is kind of bullshit. It should be just like the judicial branch. When you have 9 judges, there should be the same thing in the executive branch. There should be like 5 presidents or something. So that way the 5 presidents could vote yay or nay on something, and there's going to be a constant battle between them. But at least there'll be discussion. and stuff like that. And the manipulation will be a lot less because you're not just trying to manipulate one dude. I don't know. Sorry, I ran.
So for me, no, that's good. For me and my family, you guys can both just state for me. You guys are both United States Marines, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, just want to make sure. So if I do forward this to Marine family, maybe they'll listen now. I don't know.
I see, and that's the other problem is that when you have a discussion, especially when it comes to politics, it's like I'm a Marine, so I'm automatically supposed to be a Republican, right winger, conservative. And I'm like, nah, man, I want to maximize our freedoms. Mm-hmm. I think a gay person should get married to another gay person if they want to. Right. If you want to own a gun, own a fucking gun.
Right.
If
you want to take the fucking knee during the national anthem, that's your fucking right. I'm not going to get hurt
exactly.
About it. It's not. It's
maximum
your fucking right, man.
Freedoms.
Right.
Thank you.
Exactly. So the problem is like, it happens to me a lot. I get called un-American all the time because I don't know. I don't know if my views are more left or more right. I haven't really checked, but if there's good ideas out there, I'm going to go with a good idea. That's just how it is. Yeah. I don't play teams. I think that's the most un-American thing that could happen is that there's a Democrat and a Republican. Well, I don't like some of your ways of thinking. So I'm definitely not white enough and I'm not religious enough I'm not religious at all to be a Republican.
Right. Just because of the party I follow makes a change in their views doesn't mean I need to follow suit.
Right. Exactly, man. Right. So that's my whole thing. But so politically right now, I don't think anything's changing. I think people are staying in their lanes, whether they're Republican or Democrat. Some people are saying Trump's doing a great job. Others are saying this guy is stupid. I think he wakes up every day reintroduced to life every day. He has no idea.
He can't see his tweets from 2 weeks ago.
I love it when people bring up his tweets from like a few years ago that are the exact opposite of what he tweets today. It's so fucking comedy, man.
Yeah, man.
Hey, that's
but you know what? Trump is fucking comedy, though. He is comedy. I will say that.
That's valid, man. I think somebody put up a meme a couple days ago that said people are dying in ways that they've never died before or something along those lines, man. And I was like, God damn it, what a fucking idiot this guy. This is our president. And like motherfuckers actually fall in line like, I will die for this fucking guy. Really?
And you got people behind them grabbing their heads and looking and shaking their heads, looking down. You got dudes falling asleep behind them. It's so funny to watch those guys.
This guy talks like he's been smoking the fucking best chronic in the world, and nonstop. And you fucking follow this fucking rambling idiot.
It's crazy, man. So
if we were to find out that he was just high this whole time, I would be okay with everything. I'd be like, oh fuck yeah,
right?
Yeah.
I'd vote for him again.
Yeah, I'd be like, yeah, I want more high. I want a more high president. Fuck yeah.
No, he just thought, I'm going to hire my cabinet and blame everything on them. But yeah.
Hey guys, but if there's nothing left, man, I wanna go ahead and let you guys go, man. But do you guys got any outgoing messages or statements you want to give to the listeners before we're out?
Vitco Foods, VITCOFOODS.com. It's in Ontario if you're local.
Kenny, what you got, bro?
Yeah. I would say stay inside, stay with your family. Protecting your own actually protects us all. So don't be afraid to ask for help if you need it. Don't be too prideful. We're all in this together. I mean, we all share this planet together. So let's do exactly that. So if you have some toilet paper, go hand it out to a neighbor or something. And if you ever need a workout regimen or you need meal plan while you're in quarantine. Hit up Physically Fit, Mentally Prepared. You'll find me. You'll find me in there.
There you go. And ladies and gentlemen, listen, I know, like I said, we've been lagging on the podcast, but because of the situations that's going on and really because of my new job. But once I get, all bullet points checked out and, everything squared away as far as my knowledge to this new career that I've gone into, they'll be much more frequent. Once again, I'd like to thank my homeboy Big Sherm, my brother Big Kenny Cannon, the place to be. And if you're out and about in those grocery stores, man, give those people a thank you, man. They deserve it. And if you see someone in the healthcare system, a nurse, a doctor, show them your appreciation. And you guys stay safe, take care of your family. Love from here at the podcast to you guys. Once again, this has been Chapter 68, the chapter of the Architect, DJ Architect, Kenny Ken, and Big Sherm. We are out.
DJ Architect.